Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Market Down Podcast, this time live and in color. My name is Nick Cummings, joined by James Asante. We have just finished watching AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling's beautiful Forbidden Door pay-per-view. I love this, and we will start neither with the main event nor the first match, but the one that has been making the most news, the Fatal 4-Way match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship between the champion Jay White, Hangman Adam Page, Adam Cole, and Kazuchika Okada. And this was a really good match. It was. I enjoyed every second of this except for about the last 5. And I think you'll agree with me on that, James. But as we're getting the news, we are live and we're all kind of doing this in real time. There have been a lot of reports, Brian Alvarez being my main source on this, that Adam Cole did get hurt during the match, which led to, let's say, the lackluster ending of this match. Now, I've also seen unconfirmed reports that he had come into this match with a torn labrum. I saw a clip on Twitter where perhaps when Okada went for that last Rainmaker, he might have accidentally pulled Cole's shoulder out of his socket. Again, nothing is confirmed here, James, but it does appear Adam Cole is hurt. And despite what was a very good match, we are unfortunately left with an injury and a lackluster finish.
You know how it goes. It doesn't matter if the beginning's good and the middle is good. All people are going to be left with is the finish. And unfortunately, this finish was a little rough, no matter the reasoning. Unfortunately, we obviously all wish Adam Cole, if he is hurt, a speedy recovery.
Very much so.
We hope it's not too serious, and we hope he could get past this. But there had to have been a better way to cover this finish. You have 3 people in that ring that you can pin, and you pin the one guy who didn't get hit with anything. Why didn't Jay White pin Okada? You know, there had to have been some communication that something was wrong with Cole. But admittedly, things did happen pretty quickly. But it's a shame that such a great match is just going to be remembered for the finish, because truth be told, this was a New Japan match through and through. It was, you could tell it was booked by the New Japan booking.
It's probably booked by Gino,
right? And which is amazing, because this is, I think, to my knowledge, the first Fatal 4-Way for the IWGP title.
They said it on commentary, it was.
And it was such a great match. Thank you, Kevin. How great was it to have Kevin Kelly?
I missed him, and we'll get into more of that as the show goes on. But I haven't watched New Japan pretty much since AEW started, because the Elite left. I missed Kevin Kelly, man.
Kevin Kelly is such a gem. I think commentary across the board was great tonight. I love the 3-man team that we had during the buy-in, which was Excalibur.
Which they had for most of the show.
Yes. Excalibur, Taz, and Kevin Kelly were a great unit. And it was nice when Shivani came out. I loved Caprice Coleman coming out. And JR was JR.
I like Shivani coming out, and he's just like, it's Sting. He's like, okay, I'm done. I can leave now.
I'll see you guys. But to the match at hand, it was a great, great match. I loved that we didn't see lots of kickouts of finishers. Basically, everyone was fighting to hit their finisher, and when they hit it, they took someone out of the match. It was beautifully done. That's how New Japan does their matches. It was great. And man, what a terrible way to end the match.
So I'm curious to know, because of the way the match ended, if that was the scheduled finish, and the plan being, and I think I said this in our group chat, the plan being Okada hits the Rainmaker, White hops in, gets Okada out of there, and pins Cole. Because I always thought Cole was going to end up taking this pin. He seemed the most likely candidate.
Cole was in this match to take the pin. We said that when we were making our predictions, which you guys can still check out on YouTube. See if we did all right.
I did great. But if I did great, I think you and Danny did great too, because we pretty much had all the same thing for the majority of them.
I think I did well too. But Cole was there to take the pin. I just wish maybe they had called an audible. I think though. I think what we were supposed.
You can't pin Okada or Page right now. Like,
yeah, but
I think I genuinely, my presumption at the moment, which again is just based on speculation, but I wouldn't be surprised. Hello, camera. I wouldn't be surprised.
Put it on social media.
If the plan was Okada hits that Rainmaker, White jumps in, pushes him out, and pins Cole, but Cole accidentally collapsed when he hurt his shoulder on the Rainmaker and it didn't get hit. So if that and White was, and that was the finish, and White was supposed to pin him because he talked to the ref right afterwards. So it wouldn't shock me if that was the planned finish and it just went awry because Cole ended up doing presumably whatever he did to his shoulder.
And I totally agree. I think we were going to get a betrayal. Why did he pin Adam Cole as opposed to Okada? And that is, even as the Bucks and Kyle O'Reilly came out afterwards to check on Cole, that was, I think, the story they were trying to push. But it just doesn't look good. It didn't translate well to TV. I'm sure it didn't translate well in the live crowd because we saw the crowd not happy with the finish. It's a shame. And I understand when you're given lemons, you got to make lemonade. But man, this was not a sweet drink. This was a bitter taste.
Yeah, well, when you make lemonade, you do need sugar, and sometimes you don't have it.
There was no sugar.
It's unfortunate. Like you said earlier, it's going to unfortunately overshadow this entire match, which I very much enjoyed. I thought all of the interactions were good. Adam Cole hit a literal backstabber.
How perfect was it? We were waiting to see who was going to... It rhymes. We were looking to see who was going to betray who first. Adam Cole betrayed Jay White, and in the end, he paid for it. He's the one who got pinned.
Yeah.
So I think there's a excellent story that is brewing now. Like, things have been simmering for a while. I think things are going to definitely hit full tilt soon. But I don't know where they go from here. I don't know if Jay White stays in the United States. I don't think he does. He's the IWGP champion, and I believe he's in the G1, which starts middle of next month. Yeah, so I really don't want this storyline to just simmer for a while.
I do want Cole and Hangman separated, which if Cole is hurt, then we're gonna kind of get
worst way possible. Sorry for that monkey's paw.
Yeah, literal monkey's paw. I also very much enjoyed from this match Okada and Hangman's interactions. They did the New Japan handshake when they faced off.
Yeah,
which
that was awesome.
Lit.
That was awesome.
There was a lot of good stuff about this match, and it's all going to get sucked into this Adam Cole injury, which really, really sucks.
Yeah.
All right, so let's hop back to the top of the card, and not even the beginning, the full beginning, there were far more matches on the buy-in than were announced. And jokingly on Twitter, and thank you for everybody who followed along with me on Twitter, I jokingly called it Forbidden Door Dark, but it kind of was.
Felt like it.
But it was good. Like I had a lot of fun watching these matches. I got to see some guys I wasn't expecting. I didn't get to see Toriano, which was unfortunate. I was hoping he was around somewhere. But it was good. I thought that the Goto and Yoshihashi match against the Factory was fun. I love hating QT Marshall. It's a lot of fun. I thought that was fun. You got some big meaty men slapping meat with Camarado and Archer.
How great was that? How great. That felt like Godzilla versus King Kong.
It literally did.
Oh God. And the right Kaiju won.
Yep. Keith Lee and Swerve had a match, which was very enjoyable against I'm not even going to pronounce his name, and Desperado. Kanemaru. I probably botched that.
No, you got it right.
He shoots, he scores. Wearing the Chicago stuff. There you go. Michael Jordan in this bitch.
No. That's Ricky Starks.
Ricky Starks.
That is Ricky Starks.
No, I gotta say it like Taz. Ricky Starks. You're from the Bronx. That was really good. I enjoyed watching those guys. If I'm not mistaken, are junior heavyweights. It was fun watching them fight Keith Lee, and Keith Lee just manhandling them.
Oh my god! Got to give it to Desperado.
Oh yeah, he
hell
was
of
great.
a show. That guy has it. You know, whatever that tangible it is, he has it.
But the winner of the buy-in was clearly Danhausen, because after the entrance for the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn and the Ass Boys, Danhausen finally debuted on television the Billy Gunn and the Ass Boys theme song to the point where Colton and Austin ran to the back and completely abandoned their father and Max Caster to a 4-on-2 match against the New Japan Dojo guys. And they ended up winning, but Danhausen completely stole that. It was great.
What I love about it is that it felt like a babyface push for Max Caster, right? This guy was essentially getting teamed up the entire match, and he persevered. Like, I know we all love Max Caster. I know we all cheer for Max Caster, but this was an instance where we had a reason to root for him. I loved it, and I want to see I want to see the Acclaim turn babyface, and I want those dastardly ass boys and the ass daddy to get. I think that's going to be a great feud.
Oh no, I think Daddy Ass is turning on his sons. I think he's gonna stick with the Acclaimed after that. His boys abandoned him, and Max Caster stuck by his side.
I do agree about what the match of the night was, but we're gonna get there. Ryan Fredericks, thank you.
Oh yeah, no, that was clearly match of the night. I almost started the show with that, but the Cole injury was more important.
It was.
It was more newsworthy. It was not more important. That was definitely match of the night. All right, let's get into the Actually, I wanted to bring up one more thing about the Fatal 4-Way before I forget. I know it's not Fatal 4-Way because copyright, but no Kenny.
Boo! Boo! Leslie Nope. Boo! Boo! I don't care how great this show was, and it was great. Boo! No Kenny Omega. Just made me so sad. Not even like a hi to the crowd.
It was a little disappointing. I understand why. But it was disappointing. I really wanted to see Kenny in any way, shape, or form. I was half expecting a Bullet Club beatdown of Hangman in some capacity.
I agree.
And Kenny coming down to stare down Jay White or whatever. And then Okada looks at him and they look at each other like I was expecting something like that.
There was so much they could have done.
I don't need Kenny to be back for the next 3 months after that either. Even if he just showed up, it would have been nice. But it's fine. We're okay. We'll move on. So,
are we?
Opening match of the paper. Fine. Freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Opening match for the pay-per-view was Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki against Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shooter. I'm just calling him Shooter. It makes my life easier.
Yep.
Oh, which reminds me, no red shoes tonight.
I know.
I was so expecting that. When they said there was a crop of New Japan refs, I was so expecting red shoes. I'm so disappointed.
I understand the man not wanting to take the trip if he doesn't have
Fair.
to.
But his son was on the card. Do you think he would have? Right.
His son's 20-something.
You're not going to go see a kid wrestle in America?
Oh, God.
Fine. Whatever. Anyway, this match was unexpectedly, at least for me, for the advantage in Blood and Guts on Wednesday. It was pretty much everything I expected.
No, I agree.
The heels won, lots of cheating. Shooter looked like a fucking star. Wheeler he went head to head with Suzuki. Wheeler went head to head with Suzuki. Eddie went head to head. Everyone just faced off with Suzuki, which was great. The only thing I didn't like about this was the ending, just because, and I understand why he's been using it. The Judas effect tends to lend itself to just kind of
lackluster.
Yeah, well, I was trying to use a different word than lackluster because I use it for the 4-way match. But yes, so just lackluster finishes because it's so easy to hit. And I know Eddie's finisher kind of does that too, but like it's just, I don't know. It's
the difference between Eddie's swinging back fist is that he's got reach on it. When Jericho does the Judas effect,
it's so
close. It doesn't look great. And
like I read that from a mile away when it happened tonight.
I used to forgive it because I get it. The old man doesn't want to hit the code breaker. It's a high back bump. I get it. But he hit the code breaker earlier in the match. It's just he's downgraded that move so much. So yeah, weak finish, but I loved Shooter looking great. I love that man eating super kicks and keeping the Boston Crab in.
Yeah, star-making performance for Shooter.
And I liked Shooter. I love the dynamic he had with Moxley. This is really my first true exposure to him post-excursion, post-graduation from being a young lion. And I loved what I saw. This is a charismatic young man with a great look, tenacity. The sky's the limit for this kid. We had a friend who, if he's here in the chat, next year he predicts Shooter will be carrying a singles championship, and I cannot wait for it.
I can see that, even if it's like the never weight or whatever that.
The never open weight championship, which is also the number 2 belt now in New Japan.
Yeah, like even if something like that, I would not be surprised.
Absolutely.
I'm curious to see what faction snaps him up. Like he's going to be a hot commodity, I think, after this match. He
feels perfect for Chaos. But who isn't in Chaos? I think I might be in Chaos at this point.
Everyone apparently except Chucky T. God damn it, give that man some respect.
I just want him back on TV.
Yeah, right?
I just want him back on TV.
I know he's like trying out to be a spooky pervert, but he had a clear opportunity for a save tonight and wasn't there. But we'll get there because that ended up being really cool as well. Let's move on to the winner takes all 3-way tag match between FTR, Jeff Cobb and Great O'Khan, and Roppongi Vice. Dude, I love their theme. Like I remember my first exposure to Trent, Rocky, and Roppongi Vice was when I first started watching Being the Elite, and I watched the Wrestle Kingdom. I think it was like 14 or something. And they were in a match. They were in like one of the crazy tag matches, whatever it was. And I heard that theme and I couldn't get it out of my head for 4 days. And I'd never seen them before. But I was like, I fucking love these guys. These guys are gangsters. But I think the inevitable conclusion happened for this match, which was FTR now owning 3 sets of title belts, even with Dax having to go to the back for an apparent shoulder injury.
What do we think? Was that a work, or did we get worked, or was that legit?
I don't know. I really don't know, because
as we were watching it, commentary said that it was possibly a dislocated shoulder. If that man dislocated his shoulder and came back and worked the rest of that match the way he did, he is superhuman. And not only do they deserve those titles, they should probably just win every title. You know, like just hand them over. Hand them over.
I have seen people pop their shoulder back in and finish not just matches, but games or whatever you're in.
I've watched Lethal Weapon also, but I don't know how real that is.
No, I no joke. I had a buddy on my basketball team. He dislocated his shoulder in practice and just slammed it back in the floor and like finished practice. He was like, "Don't even tell coach. It's fine. It happens all the time." I was like, "Dude, what?" But so, I mean, hopefully Dax is good long term, even short term. I hope he's good, because it amazes me FTR's transition from heel to face. I think I might have even talked about it here on the pod, but crowds used to chant which one's Dax, which one's Dawson at them. And now they are the hottest face tag team in the world. It's unbelievable.
But how well
earned
is it? How well earned is it? It's not just, oh, you know what? The fans decided to come around on them. They've put in the work for a long time. They were amazing even when people didn't care what their names were. But they were amazing.
We were still at a certain point, sorry to cut you, at a certain point, that chant became ironic. Like, we knew which one was which, but because they were heels, it was funny. And it was around the DIY feud. But...
and I get that. But there was a genuine moment where they started to click with fans. And it felt so genuine. It felt so earned. And I'm so happy for them. You know, we're the Mark It Down podcast. We're a couple of marks. We're a bunch of marks. And we want to get lost in a feeling when we're watching wrestling. And guess what? I have just been swept off my feet by this team. And it's because they feel so genuine. And granted, that's because they're good workers. You know, they know how to work us. But I'm happy to be worked by them. And I want to see how far this journey can go. This really does kind of feel like a Cinderella story in a way. And
which is so weird because they're one of the top tag teams on the planet.
Of course. But they're like, remember what their gimmick was? No flips, just fists, you know, in a world but in a world with so many exciting tag teams, they did it just through grit, hard work, and at this point, a never say die attitude.
It's the other thing I really enjoy about their face turn is they're the same guys. The only thing they don't do anymore is cheat.
Exactly.
But like, they're still like, no, we're out here fighting for money for our family. It's just they used to cheat to do it because they're like, you're not taking money out of my pocket.
Yep.
But now they're, you know, more straight up and down about the wrestling part of it. And they don't like jump people in the back. And that's pretty much like everything else is straight up the same. And they interact with the crowd a bit more in a face manner. It's unbelievable to see. Like you said, they've absolutely earned it. There was a time I didn't think I'd ever see a face FTR, but here we are, and I am loving every fucking second of this. And I know we just spent this entire segment talking about FTR. Roppongi Vice was great. Great O'Connor and Cobb were great. Like, this match was really, really good on the whole. I just get so sucked into the FTR thing because I'm so
that's how good they are. That's how good they are. But let's give everyone their flowers, you know. Roppongi Vice, I for a second I thought they were going to win those belts. You know, I went in thinking they were the ones who were going to take the pin, to then thinking midway through the match, oh crap, Trent's finally going to win a title in AEW. Granted, neither of them were AEW titles, but it was still going to be cool. And always impressed with Jeff Cobb. And Great O'Con, you know, I am more impressed with his Instagram than anything else. But we won't get into that. Though. Oh, he did. Nothing bad to say about Great O'Con.
Yeah. No, I thought everyone came to play. I thought there was at a point I thought they were going to win.
Yeah.
You know, like it was a very good match. I loved every second of it. And FTR I'm waiting. I cannot wait for FTR Bucks Part 3.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's keep moving here. We had the 4-way match for the new All Atlantic Championship. And before we even get into who was in this, Ishii was unfortunately unable to compete, which I think took a decent amount of air out of this match beforehand. But shout out Clark Connors because he brought it all the way back.
This was a coming out party for this young man. You know, I know if you're a New Japan fan, you've got a better shot of being familiar with him.
I didn't know who the fuck he was.
And I don't blame you. I do not blame you. But he came to play. He brought a fun energy to the match, you know, a straight up babyface energy, which was needed because
lucky underdog.
Yeah. Miro is the monster of the match. Pac is a pause because that's what Justin Roberts does. Pause bastard. And Malachi Black is scary. So it was nice to just have somebody who was energetic that we could root for.
Gave me a bit of a Cameron Grimes vibe. I think
I got that too. I got that too. Yeah. Not that there's really anything familiar with their gimmicks or anything,
Just that they have the Southern accents, and that's about it. But like it's that vibe with the plucky underdog.
Yep.
Type of deal. Like he gave me that. So I really enjoyed him in this match. I would like to see more of him. Obviously, Pac ended up winning the title, not on a Black Arrow. I was really upset.
Yeah. How weird was that? Why would he hit a 4? I mean, I guess maybe it was safer to hit a 450 splash with all those bodies.
The two of the guys were interlocked in I forget what hold it was, but yeah, I think the 450 was probably safer. I was a little disappointed because my roommate was watching and he doesn't really watch wrestling. I was like, watch, this guy's going to do the craziest flippy shit. And he did a 450. You know, it's like,
how sad is it that as fans, we've gotten to the point where it's like this double flip that a guy does is not impressive.
It's not that it's not impressive. Shameful. It just wasn't the one I wanted him to see.
Shameful.
But this match, I love. Miro is red hot right now.
Yep.
And I'm not surprised. So now I'm now curious what happens with this title, because I think we all predicted it was going to go to Ishii and it was going to end up being a traveling title. Now Pac has it, and I'm curious if it stays in AEW, if he ends up maybe doing a couple of months in Britain and dicking around with it there. I don't know. It becomes a really big guessing game with the title now.
I think worst case scenario, we have someone who is going to defend this belt in AEW against other non-American born talent. And guess what? Those are a lot of exciting matchups that we can get. That's worst case scenario.
Irony, I think Connors is from Texas.
We don't need to talk about it. But anyway.
He works for New Japan, so we let it slide.
That's worst case scenario. We're going to get some exciting matches in AEW from non-American born talent. Best case scenario, at least starting with Pac, whenever he goes back home across the pond, which he inevitably will, we instead get him maybe defending that belt at shows over there. And maybe we get some footage from that. That's best case scenario.
Hopefully.
And even if we take it a level above, he drops that belt to somebody outside of AEW. I would love to see Ishii come in and get a match because I think he deserves it. And I would love for that to happen on either New Japan Strong or just a New Japan pay-per-view. That would be fantastic. I don't necessarily know what comes next, but I think no matter what, Pac as champion is something that is 3 years into AEW overdue.
That is definitely fair, because I know a lot of people, once Ishii went out, wanted to give this title to Miro.
Yeah.
And I can see why, but like you said, Pac has been here for 3 years, hasn't won a title yet. He hasn't really won anything major in general yet. Like, he's won a couple feuds, but even those were annoying and a little too lengthy. Cough, cough, Andrade, cough, cough. Like, so I think him getting it makes a lot of sense. Honestly, please give me a Pac Will Ospreay and Rev Pro and let Will win it. Like something wild like that would be awesome. Like, I never need to see this title on Dynamite. It's like twice a year, maybe. Let this thing ping pong around the world on whomever you want to put it on, and it'll be great. As long as we get the footage of it. I want to just know where it goes and who has it and stuff. But I really like this match. I thought Miro looked like an absolute fucking stud in this.
How great was he? He took the mist to the face and the black mass and still didn't really go down. Jesus, or whatever God for Miro. But wow, that was great.
The base god. Let's move on. So after this, we had a reunited Bullet Club against the new version of the Dudes with Attitude. So that was the Bucks and Phantasmo against Sting, Darby Allin, and Shingo Takagi. My first experience with Shingo, which was cool. It was so nice seeing the Bucks back in the black and white Bullet Club with those vests coming out to the Bullet Club song, which is some of the best music in all of wrestling. I miss those vests, man, with the Ring of Honor and New Japan, and I think they still had the PWG patch on there. I wasn't entirely sure.
I
They might
hope
have
they
replaced
did.
it with
I
something.
didn't see, but I hope they did.
It used to be there. And then Sting in the rafters and then appearing on the top of the stage and jumping off and getting all of them. Side note, Sting is 63.
Can somebody, like, I love it, but please, somebody stop our favorite goth grandpa from just jumping off of high things onto people. Please, like, it could only go right so many times before it does it.
It's all right, man. Hikuleo fucking called him. He was good.
Hikuleo was definitely there tonight to catch people, and man, did he do great at it.
It was unfortunate he wasn't able to compete. The fourth member of the Dudes with Attitudes got hurt. I forget, or he got stuck in Japan.
He was sick with a fever and couldn't travel to the United States. Hiromu Takahashi, who was very missed. He would have done great with this crowd, and I hope you recover well, Hiromu. And yeah, I disappointing, but the 6 men in this match certainly brought it. And El Phantasmo is in 2022. In 2022, I got to see Sting have a titty twister fight, and that is pro wrestling, guys. There is nothing more pro wrestling than that.
Turnabout is fair play. I love he.
Oh, there was some turning about. Ooh.
Yeah. I love he no-sold that, and now I'm thinking back to the pre-show. Keith Lee was getting into the ring, going through the ropes, and one of his opponents, I forget which one, kicked the rope and got nutshotted, and he sold his nuts for a good 5 minutes. I love that. I've never seen that before, because mostly like low blows and stuff usually end matches or like knock people out. He was in the match selling his nuts and I think his like knee or something at the same time. Like he's holding his nuts trying to like hit Uranagi's with one arm. It was great. But back to this. This was just fun. I think that was the point of this match. It was just a fun match. Pretty much anytime Sting is in one of these matches, it's just a good time. Because he's not gonna lose. It's Sting. Him and Darby they're still undefeated. So I had a blast. Sting no selling is still fun as hell. I think he no sold the super kick and then took out both of the Bucks and just collapsed. Yeah. And I very, very much missed Kevin Kelly just going super kick. I forgot how much I missed that. I love that guy. I'm so glad he was on commentary.
I know the state of the world certainly makes things difficult for this, but I would love to start to see more like interplay where we get just small interactions where we get AEW guys in Japan and Japanese guys. Like we do get a healthy amount of Japanese guys here, but I would just love to see the Bucks back in New Japan just for not a run, but a little appearance here and there. Because man, did they feel at home.
Yeah, they really did. I'm curious to see if they would do that, just because I feel like their schedule now is so much lighter than it was.
Oh, of course.
BTE.
Yeah. It's not an expectation, just a small wish.
Yeah, I like if they did like a Wrestle Kingdom thing, like I could see that happening, but they would obviously have to be off AEW pretty much all of December, unless they just built it up. On in video packages and stuff. Yeah. So, like I said, I miss Bullet Club Bucks. That's what got me into New Japan and stuff, man. Like, I really love Bullet Club Bucks. It was so good to see them back. Let's move on to the AEW Women's Championship match between Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm. Sick entrance gear out of Thunder Rosa.
Thunder looked great. Like appearance wise, Thunder looked amazing. I think this is my favorite Thunder look in a long time.
Yeah, very. I think it was an Aztec theme. I hope I'm not being stereotypical and/or wrong, but it appeared to be the case. This was a good match, and I feel like it's going to end up getting lost on such a stacked card.
So I was talking with some people as the show was going on, and a friend of mine, a friend of the pod, Dragoon, mentioned that, wow, AEW women's matches are nice, but boy, are they predictable. And I think that's a fair assessment, and I think that was a fair assessment of this match.
I'd back that up.
I think Thunder got an 80%, I think, of the offense in this match. And at no point did I really feel worried for her. I know when we were doing our predictions that we were saying how much we wanted it to be Toni.
Yeah,
but
it seemed like a good time to have a short title reign. And,
exactly.
Yes, and Toni's red hot right now.
At no point, though, was I genuinely worried that Toni was, or worried that Thunder was going to lose. She felt solidly in control. And I don't know. There was just something about this match that felt like it never really kicked into that next gear. None of it was bad. Yeah,
I'll agree with.
I want to reiterate, none of this was bad. It's just it felt like it could have gone an extra 3 to 4 minutes. That would have really benefited the match. But another good showing for Thunder. Toni, I wish she had gotten more in. But how cool was it that Thunder? I think she ended the match with Goldust's finisher, right?
She did, because Toni kicked out of the Thunder Rosa, or the Thunder driver.
Yeah.
There's another word in the middle there. I forgot what it was. But yeah, she kicked out of that, which I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, ball game. I was like going to get up to use the bathroom, and Toni kicked. I was like, oh shit. So Thunder coming back and ended up finishing it with Dustin's finisher was pretty cool as well. So I like this. I fully agree with everything you said. Thunder got most of the offense in. She was never really in peril, so to speak. Toni, I think she teased Storm Zero, but she ended up selling the arm, I think it was, and she couldn't get it in. Phrasing. So
just want to address a comment in the comments. That Thunder driver looked rough. It looked more like a tombstone. It did. I got flashbacks to when Ivelisse didn't sell it for her, and it was just straight up a tombstone. But thankfully, Toni looked okay, and I don't think anybody got hurt in the process. But yeah, she got dropped straight down. There wasn't much of a turn on that.
Yeah, no, there was no turn on it, which is why I was so shocked she kicked. I don't think she actually hit her head, though. I think
she was cushioned.
Yeah, no, I think Thunder, her legs hit, and if Toni's head hit, it was barely. Like, it was never one of those things where I was like, oh fuck, she just spiked her.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, she's. I didn't even think twice about it until you just mentioned it now.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed this match, but predictable and just overshadowed by everything else, because this was such a stacked card. And I do appreciate AEW. I don't think they went out of their way to do it, but they didn't put this match on this card with a company who doesn't have any women's wrestlers. And again, that's no knock on New Japan. That's just how they do things over there.
Yeah.
All the companies are separate. But they put this card on a very male-dominated card. Put this match, on a very male-dominated card. And while we do give AEW, and I think rightfully so, a lot of shit for their the booking of their women's division, the fact I think they did this does show they give somewhat of a shit. So I'm glad it was here. I'm glad Toni got a pay-per-view title match. I'm glad Thunder was able to defend on this card. And hopefully, it exposed some Japanese people to the AEW women's division. Not to mention, both Thunder and Toni were in Japan, champions in Japan. So
it's true. And not that we're booing this woman, but how nice was it to have a pay-per-view without Britt Baker?
Fair.
Not nice, but how refreshing. Refreshing.
Much better word. Better word. And look, I'm all here for more Britt Baker matches, just maybe on a lower part of the card. And just, I love Britt. Britt, I love you. Just out of the title picture for a little while. She's got to do something else. She's still the most over woman in the division and arguably the most important, but you can be that and not be in the title picture. And I think that's totally fine.
Agree. Tonight showed that.
Yes. All right, let's move on to the actual main event of this show.
Right.
Will Ospreay.
Whoa. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Orange Cassidy. IWGP United States Championship. This was the real main event going in. This was match of the night. I don't care what you say. This was the best match on this card. I have zero complaints about this. I loved every second of it. Orange starting the match with his hands, making the ref wait so he could put his hands in his pockets to start the match just to piss Ospreay off. Already put it at 5 stars for me, and it only went up from there. This was amazing. I loved this. It obviously ended the right way. Will ended up winning, but it took a multitude of finishers and signatures from Will Ospreay. He was just spamming that at the end just to pick up the W. It was amazing. I loved this.
I had a buddy who was watching the match, and he said, don't get me wrong, I love Orange Cassidy, but what did Will do to be stuck with this match? And I was like, just watch. This match is going to steal the show. And thank goodness I was proven right. It was such a joy. I watched this match with my dad, and my dad is...
Shout out Papa G.
Papa G. He loves the more serious approach to wrestling. You know, he would rather see like that gladiatorial style than the comedy style of matches, for better or for worse. When Orange Cassidy was first introduced to AEW, he didn't get it. He didn't like it. But over time, he got turned around on him. And I think this was my dad's favorite match too. He's gonna try. I loved every aspect of this match. Both men complimented each other so well. And better than anything, there was genuinely good psychology in this match. I loved because I thought it was weird how it played out. But then when you think about it, it's perfect. When Orange slowly drops back to the mat and hits the mat to make Will do the moonsault onto him. He misses the moonsault. He misses the second one, but then he hits the third flip.
He's an SSP, yeah.
But Orange wanted to get hit by that, so he would go up and hit another move, and he'd be able to pin him.
Hit the knees and pinned him. Yeah.
It was such a smart match. So many people get hung up on the flippy shit in wrestling. But man, these guys told a great story with every tool in their arsenal. And I loved every second of this match. Not a knock on anybody else. Not a knock on any other match of the night or any other performer. But these two put on a clinic. And my God, was it entertaining.
I said going into this, the pre-match psychology of it was great because Orange Cassidy is a guy who doesn't take himself seriously at all, or anything seriously for that matter. And Will Ospreay takes himself the most seriously. There's no one who takes himself more seriously than Will Ospreay. And having these two guys go up against each other was just perfection in my head, and it played out exactly how I wanted it to. Absolutely. Like you said, the psychology of all of it was amazing because there were so many points in this match, not just the one you mentioned, but multiple times where Orange was just getting in his head by just not giving a shit.
Yep, absolutely.
And Will's like, fucking take this seriously. This is a wrestling match. It's important. And Orange just has his hands in his pockets, just not caring. It was great.
I don't want to bury the lead. I don't want to, I don't want to get past this because this was such a great match. But we have to talk about what followed and how amazing that was, how epic that was. And you can do the honors, but I was excited. I was very excited.
Go ahead, dude, because good.
We had Shibata. We had Shibata on TV, on pay-per-view, confronting Will Ospreay and kicking ass. He cleared house of the Empire. How amazing was it, one, to see this man in a ring again, and two, to do it in such a dominant way. And my God, is he going to be going for a title? Is he going to wrestle? I don't know. If this was only a nice little, hey, American fans, here's Shibata, that's awesome. I'm glad that he got to have a moment. But if this is leading to something else, holy crap.
I hope so. Now, refresh my memory. I I believe he got injured. I forget what it was, but he was like almost never supposed to wrestle again, correct?
He wrestled a match with Okada, and he had a very bad head injury. You're absolutely right. Everyone predicted he would never get to wrestle again, which is a shame because of how good he is and how young he is.
He's still really young, yeah.
Yeah. I believe he's late 30s, which is a young man. He's a young man.
He looks a lot younger.
Yeah. But we didn't see him for a very long time in Japan. And then he accompanied Kenta to the ring. And this is when Kenta turned heel. And then he confronted Kenta, and he actually started to fight Kenta and the Bullet Club guys and took some hits. People were shocked.
I remember that, yeah.
Eventually, that led to Shibata having an exhibition match.
Against Zack Saver Jr.
Yes. And
it was, if I remember, it was a submissions only match. So,
and, a safe match.
Yeah.
Zack Sabre Jr. is a safe wrestler. And it was just...
It was just all like mat wrestling too, so it wasn't like they weren't doing any spots or nothing. But exactly. I watched that. It was cool.
But just to say that the man could go again in the ring was a blessing. So if we get anything else moving forward, we are in Candyland. This is just amazing. This is the cherry on top of a career that ended too soon. But if this was just a little hello, man, do I wish I was in Chicago tonight.
I mean, it certainly looked like he was challenging Will for the U.S. Championship, which Juice Robinson is currently in possession of. So,
how weird was it? Bothered me that we had Juice on the show as much as he was. It's like
he didn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not medically cleared, that's totally fine. But it's bothering me that we're seeing the belt that they can't go for.
No, they were going for it.
No, but you know what I mean.
Will retain.
Ospreay,
not...
Ospreay should be holding that belt, and it just feels weird. It just feels weird.
I feel like if you watch New Japan on the daily, it wouldn't be as weird.
I'm used to New Japan when someone gets stripped of the belt goes to whoever it's supposed to go to afterwards.
But this isn't the first time they've done that recently where the guy was refused to give it up. If I'm not mistaken, Will Ospreay refused to give up one of the IWGP heavyweight championships for a while.
That's actually a brilliant point. Will's sort of getting a taste of his own medicine. But we're also Will's a heel. Juice is a heel.
Heels can still be dicks to each other. Just because they're heels doesn't mean they have to make friends. This ain't WWE.
But what dick am I supposed to like? I don't know which dick is the better dick.
For raising. I think if you're a New Japan fan and you follow it on the regular, this progresses a very interesting storyline because now you have the three of these guys presumably in the storyline, and it should be really cool. Also, Orange Cassidy put his sunglasses on Shibata, so...
How does Shibata not look like the coolest human being, right?
He did.
Right?
Him lowering the glasses, just dope. All right, so James is going to duck out for half a second because his laptop is dying, so I have to fill time, which is awesome. And I will do that by telling you the next match on the card, which was Zack Saver Jr. versus the mystery new member of the Blackpool Combat Club. And that
say Blackpool Combat Club?
I did. Wow. I didn't have to fill that much time at all. And that was none other than Claudio. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. Castagnoli. Thank you. I think we all expected this, but the hype was still fucking real. It was amazing. Dude came out, hit a European uppercut and the neutralizer to start the match. I thought he was going to squash Zack for a second.
I am so glad that he didn't squash him. It would have been a fun, oh my God moment for Claudio, but Zack wouldn't have deserved that. Zack is too good a talent to get squashed in less than 10 seconds.
Yeah, no, I thought that was a perfect opening to the match, though, where it teased it, but it didn't actually happen.
Exactly. It felt very Sami Zayn running in for a haluva kick on Kevin Owens, right? I'm glad that we got that moment. And let me just say, you said it very well. We all kind of suspected, but this is an instance which AEW does so well. giving you an expectation and rewarding you for that expectation. It felt so right for it to be Claudio, the way Brian hinted at this guy. Like Brian doesn't really hype up a lot of people, so Claudio made a lot of sense.
Especially with Regal.
Especially with Regal. And it was a moment that Claudio deserved. Claudio never got his flowers in WWE. People respected him in WWE. The crowd loved him in WWE, but I don't think he was appreciated the way he should have been by that company.
Did he ever win a singles title in WWE?
He did. He won the U.S. title.
He did win the U.S. title? Okay.
Yes.
I couldn't remember that. I knew he was obviously multi-time tag champ with the Bar.
Yes.
Shouts to the Bar.
The Bar, Tyson Kidd.
Yes, Tyson Kidd, which is why he still is a sharpshooter.
Yep. He's one of my favorite sharpshooters today.
Yeah, he is Hart family adjacent.
But I'm glad that this man got to soak up the moment. I look, we all love Claudio. Is he on the level of a Bryan Danielson? Is he on the level of a CM Punk? Probably not. But man, that pop made me think otherwise.
Well, I think wrestling-wise, maybe, but mic-wise, I think it prevents him from getting there.
Overall, like Bryan Danielson is one of the top tier wrestler. He's an S tier wrestler.
Yes,
because I think Claudio is of that level, but he's never been treated that way. And I think that pop, he felt like it.
Yeah, and he, like you said, he definitely deserved it. On the other hand, Zack Saver Jr. looked fucking sick in this match. I haven't seen him wrestle, honestly, outside of that exhibition we mentioned earlier with Shibata. I don't think I've seen him wrestle since the Cruiserweight Classic, and I forgot how adept this guy is at just pulling submissions out of his ass. Like, he could be at any angle, and all of a sudden he's just like wrenching your arm the other way. And I'm like, how the fuck did you contort your bodies to get there?
Let me remind all our viewers, Bryan Danielson had won the Best Technical Wrestler award every year that he could, until the year he retired, and they renamed the award the Bryan Danielson Award. And Zack Sabre Jr. started winning it every year once Bryan retired. Once Bryan came back, they kept that name, the Bryan Danielson Award, and Zack Sabre Jr. kept beating Bryan Danielson for his own award. That's how good Zack Sabre Jr. is.
Was it the Bryan Danielson Award or the Daniel Bryan Award?
Bryan Danielson Award, because there's
a difference.
There is a difference. But I mean, Daniel Bryan was winning that award. It wasn't just Bryan Danielson that won that award. It was Daniel Bryan that was winning that award too. And it didn't matter because, oh God, this match was just so good. This match was so good. Cesaro's got a nice, lanky, muscular body. And Zack Sabre Jr. just found every way possible to wrap himself around him and twist him and stretch him and torque him. And it was great.
Shout out the Pride Parade today. No, I really enjoyed this. I think he teased the UFO once, and I'm hoping to see it again, at least at some point.
I'm sure we will.
I didn't know his finisher was called the Rico Law. I think I might have known and forgot, because I know of his stuff on the indies, but I'm not too familiar with it. So it was the first time I definitely seen the move, and it was really cool to see.
It's an awesome power bomb. It's an awesome power bomb. I don't know. I don't want to like get hate for it, but I love the neutralizer.
So I love the all-time great name.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's amazing. Great name, great move,
great
pun. And it's different. It's different. You know, like how many power bombs do we see in wrestling all the time? So I'm very happy to have seen the move again. I don't necessarily need it to be his finish moving forward. If it is, that's cool, because man, does he make it look great. But man, I'm gonna miss the neutralizer being a finish.
Yeah, I mean, first match back outside of WWE, you know, bring back your indie finisher. I understand. Whether or not he sticks with it, or maybe it's more of a Danielson situation where one or the other could finish a match, which I'm totally cool with. You know, I think that would be the better play. Like, whether both of them can finish matches. I like having wrestlers have multiple finishing moves because it seems more realistic to me. And now obviously, and I think we'll probably end up finishing this conversation after our discussion about the main event, but he will be in Blood and Guts. So that's interesting to see. The last note I have on this match is I really wish Regal was on commentary for it.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I get not having Regal out there with Claudio as he's coming out, because if you want that video package of that huge pop of Claudio, you don't want anyone else there. I do get that. But I wish Regal had come out afterwards to just join commentary. But I'm just going to headcanon it that he was busy prepping Moxley for the world title match.
Which I think works because he was obviously with Mox backstage as he came out. So I would have been cool even if he just after Claudio came out, he just came over, hit him on the shoulder and went to commentary. And I do want to talk about commentary again towards the end. I think we mentioned earlier, this was a very good team. It was the main three guys of Kevin Kelly, Excalibur, and Taz, which I thought was interesting. We had Shivani for the Sting match, and then JR came out at a certain point, and he finished out the show. And I normally don't like 4-man teams. They're very busy. A lot of guys are trying to get their stuff in. But these 4 guys seem to work very well together. And I enjoyed Kevin Kelly giving the New Japan side of things. JR is he's color
now. He's color now.
Yeah, he blurs the line between color and play-by-play because I feel like Excalibur is the main play-by-play guy, but if JR is talking, he will call the play-by-play just so Excalibur doesn't have to step on him, which is very smart. Taz knows his job very well on commentary. He gets in where he fits in. GoPro Jones over here.
I love Taz on commentary. I unironically love Taz on.
No, he's great.
He adds energy. He's got a real energy when he's behind the desk.
Yeah, and he keeps kayfabe behind the desk better than anybody I know.
Absolutely.
He was during the Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland match on the pre-show. He was like, "These guys are great. I don't like them, but they're great." He always does shit like that, promoting Team Taz and everything. He's so good at it. And him and Excalibur are darker. Oh
my god,
that's stand-up hour.
Yep.
It's just them doing stand-up revolving around wrestling for an hour and a half. I mean, for those of you who watch Botchamania, Inception, Taz commentary is a thing. So I very much enjoy this team. I would love to see Kevin Kelly more. I would love to see Kelly more too, but I would love to see Kevin Kelly more.
Bonk.
Well, I almost said it was a joke, but I don't know if he's going to be around, but it'd be cool if hopefully New Japan and AEW are able to continue their relationship. Maybe we get a couple guys on excursion coming over to AEW, which would be really nice. And I'm sure, all the ex-New Japan guys, Kenny, the Bucks, and all of them, will take care of those guys, especially after the shit they saw Okada go through back in TNA.
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to being the Elite tomorrow. I hope we get Okada, and I hope it's just him running around in the Bucks gear chasing their kids. I love goofy ass Okada.
I need him with his red balloons screaming yabba dabba doo. Wait. No, Scooby Dooby Doo. Scooby Dooby Doo. Oh god.
I do believe one of our friends compared him to he's Tom Hanks in Big as one of the top 5 wrestlers in the world.
It's so apt. It's so apt.
It's amazing. All right, let's get to the main event, which was obviously Jon Moxley versus Hiroshi Tanahashi for the interim AEW World Championship match. Obviously, you couldn't have a Moxley pay-per-view match without him bleeding. I think this is my first experience with Tanahashi. I'm sure I've seen him on other Wrestle Kingdoms that I watched.
I mean, he wrestled on Dynamite. He did wrestle on
Dynamite. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, so my first
solo match, though. Singles match for sure.
I'm sure I saw him on Wrestle Kingdom and just didn't realize who the fuck he really was.
Yeah.
But my first thought was, can this guy still go? And the answer to that is yes. I wasn't sure. And they slow played the beginning, which I thought was smart, and it ended up going really, really well. I enjoyed all this. And by the end of it, I knew Moxley was going to win, and it was a smart decision, and it had to happen. But he had me cheering "Go Ace" by the end of this. I wanted Tanahashi by the end, and I couldn't believe he got me, man. He fucking worked me, but I'm totally here for it.
I went into the match wanting Tanahashi to win. I got through the match thinking it was actually possible, and I shouldn't have. I definitely worked myself, and they worked me good.
Which is the point, though.
Oh, it is. No, I loved it. And how great was it that the crowd? The crowd was behind Tanahashi. The crowd was booing Moxley.
Yeah.
And cheering Tanahashi. I think there's only one other guy who's gotten Moxley booed, and I think that was Hangman, like on the rise to the title.
Yeah.
So it's
maybe Eddie. Oh no, there was no crowd for that match.
Yeah. Damn. No. They. This was a magical sight, and these men delivered. It was a bloody match. It felt like a fight. And they delivered big time. And I'm so glad that Tanahashi didn't tap and he didn't get choked out.
I thought he was done. I could not believe he got out of that.
Exactly. How great a feeling is that?
Oh, it was
so great a feeling is that?
It was like, so I've seen Tanahashi called the New Japan's version of Cena.
Yes.
To an extent.
Yes.
And I've seen Cena do this a multitude of times, but this way just felt so much better. And I'm trying not to knock Cena here, because A, you're John Cena guy, and B, I do like Cena despite the fact that he was booked horrifically for a very long time.
Anyway, moving on.
But I really enjoyed the fact that this guy went. It wasn't even like they did the whole like lift the arm and it fell like 2 times, and on the third one he was like, no, I got it. No, like he was getting choked out and he went, no, arms up. I'm fucking here. And then he started like getting up and it was. I think that's what he sold me. I was like, no, this motherfucker's got to win. I was like, no, I want Tanahashi to win now. I know it's wrong. I know it's not happening, but no, I want him to win now.
I still, like, I'm going to go out and fight and still say it would have been a better choice. It would have been a better choice.
I said this, I think, in the prediction show. If Punk's injury was short-term enough, I think they would have considered it.
Yeah.
And they probably would have had to be like, hey, New Japan, like, can we borrow Tanahashi for like a month? And maybe had to pay them or give them some sort of concessions or something. If it was a month, I think they would have done it. So I think that leads me to think Punk's going to be out for 3 to 4.
Maybe, I think he'll be back by All Out. By All Out.
So
baseless guess, but I think he'll be back by All Out.
Reckless speculation, but where we throw away all the journalistic credibility. Shout out Lebatard Show. But I think because of that, they had to put it on Moxley. It was a smart move.
Yeah.
And I thought Moxley, handshake at the end was dope. And now we get into the post match after said handshake.
Boo again, Leslie Knope. Boo again.
I would think it was Jericho and
Garcia.
Garcia came out and jumped them, and then Eddie came out, and then just everybody involved in Blood and Guts came out. Obviously, at the end, it all ended with Claudio coming out with Regal following him. He cleaned house.
Yeah. That was cool. I'm happy Claudio got to feel like a big deal.
He hit the long swing because he wasn't able to do so in the match. It was over 20.
Definitely.
I think I tweeted out the over 9,000 gif. It was cool. I know you were upset about it. I just went, well, they got to sell. They're trying to just sell Blood and Guts on Wednesday. Not just to us, to the American audience, but they're trying to still sell the New Japan audience because they do have the broadcast over there now. I know they're not live, but they do have the broadcast there now. So they're trying to sell it. I know you're upset.
All right. Let me say this. If this was an AEW pay-per-view This is a great way to finish the show because you're building towards the next big thing. Totally cool. But this wasn't. This was a joint AEW New Japan show. And by the end of it, I don't blame you if you forget that there's a New Japan element to it because Tanahashi didn't get involved in the finish at all.
That I didn't like.
Like, he's just left laying there like a jabroni, and you don't treat Tanahashi like a jabroni. And I get that they needed to push Wednesday because Wednesday is going to be a big deal. But let me tell you, if you bought this pay-per-view, if you spent $50 to buy this pay-per-view, you're more than likely going to be already watching Dynamite on Wednesday. And if you're a Japanese fan, I guess this should be exciting for you enough to watch Wednesday now, but still, I'd be upset if my guy wasn't even a factor in the end of the show. So I'm glad Claudio got to look cool. I would have made, like, hindsight being 2020, thank God they didn't put the Fatal 4-Way as the main event.
Yeah.
If it's going to end that way. But
as unfortunate as it was,
if you're going to have an angle like this, maybe make the Fatal 4-Way the main event instead. But I guess everything worked out. The crowd was into it. And I will say, I think the highlight of that segment was, Jesus Christ, does Eddie Kingston get along with anybody?
Apparently just Moxley and Ortiz.
It's like, God, it made Moxley laugh. Moxley's like bleeding out, and he's like, of course this guy has a problem.
No, I love, that was my favorite part of this whole bit. Moxley's looking at him, he's looking at Claudio, he's like, come on, he's not that bad. Like, he's trying to sell Claudio to Eddie, and Eddie's like, no, fuck that guy. Fuck, I fucking hate this guy. And it's like, dude, come on, like, he's really not that bad. Like, he's gonna be good on Wednesday. It's fine.
For those that don't know, Eddie Kingston and Claudio have a long history in professional wrestling. I think it goes back 15, I don't want to say 20 years because I don't want to age these guys, but it goes back a long time. And the hatred between these two, or truth be told, maybe it's just Eddie who's holding a grudge because that feels like something Eddie would do. But it goes back a long time. And once again, we are going to be questioning in a match, can Eddie Kingston get along with his partners?
With anybody.
With anybody. And it's if you thought he didn't like Bryan Danielson or CM Punk, he really doesn't like Claudio. So
I hope he likes Wheeler. I feel like
Wheeler.
He does.
Who could dislike Wheeler other than Eric Crisanti? So, like, I don't think anybody could dislike Wheeler Yuta. And even if you do, you got to admit, he's probably just there in the background.
Wheeler's been the first guy to have his back on multiple occasions in this feud. He better fucking like Wheeler. Eddie, Wheeler's got your back, dude. Like him. Or at least just don't hate him.
I know we're about to wrap up, but I will say, we got to go back to that opening match. I loved how Wheeler did not hesitate to just slap the shit out of Chris Jericho.
Oh, yeah, no. Jericho's, he was punking him, and he was just like, nah, fuck you, paintbrush. I'm loving this Wheeler Yuta. Ever since he's started to do this BCC thing, I've loved every second of his character development. I'm going to agree with you on the thing with Tanahashi, though. He should have been involved in the clearing of house, for lack of a better phrase. Like, even after Claudio comes in, cleans house, he's the hero. Just line somebody up for Tanahashi to just, like, sling blade or something. Like, just let him get a shot in so he can stand tall with everybody else.
After Claudio does the swing, just have him do the high fly flow. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just let him do that. Like, let Claudio literally lay the guy down for him, and he's on the top rope. He hits it, and we're all happy. And then Eddie's just like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, we could have done the same thing and make Tanahashi look 1,000 times better. Instead, like you said, he looks like a jabroni just laying on the apron because he got jumped, which was dumb. Also, does Jericho have a death wish throwing a fireball in Shooter's face? You don't fuck with Moxley's son like that.
At this point, if I am AEW security, I feel like we should probably just check in on Jericho and make sure he's not bringing in anything flammable at this point. I feel like we've gotten to that point and nobody should question that. And two, my God, you don't do that to Moxley's kid.
Nope.
You just don't do it to Moxley's kid. And I hope a fireball goes in his face during Blood and Guts.
Yeah, Jinx. Yeah, I can see that happening. I see that being reversed on him in some way, shape, or form. I would love to see Shooter on Wednesday.
I would too.
I don't think we will, but it'd be really cool if we did.
I mean, it sucks that we haven't seen. It sucks that we haven't seen Moxley and Shooter interact at all.
Yeah, I was disappointed. Shooter did come out with the Death Rider jacket.
He did. But I mean, truth be told,
even on the pre-show, like a little something.
All reports are saying that if Punk didn't get hurt, Moxley was going to be in that 6-man tag. I don't know if he would have replaced Wheeler. I don't know if he would have replaced Eddie, but he would have been in that match. I think the plan was always to have him with Shooter.
Mm-hmm.
But
or maybe it would have been 8 and they would have threw somebody else in.
That too. Maybe they would have put in Garcia.
Yeah.
Maybe. But yeah, a lot got changed during that match or for that match. And man, I want to see Moxley with all of his kids. I want to see, like, once upon a time he had Darby Allin under his wing too.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So Moxley clearly likes looking after these young guys and
the crazy ones and Shooter.
I mean, he made Shooter crazy.
Yep.
But yeah, I not how I would have ended the show. It wasn't a bad segment. I just don't think it should have ended the show. But that's just me.
I don't mind it ending the show, but I think it would have been made far better if Tanahashi was able to stand tall.
Yes,
and definitely. He wasn't, which I thought was just absolute bullshit.
That would I agree. That
would that have saved it for you?
To it. Yes, I think so. I think so. As silly as that sounds, I do think Tanahashi getting in something and standing tall with everybody would have made it a little more palatable.
Yeah, because I don't even know where he was at the end. I think he was just lying on the apron.
He was lying on the apron, on like camera side.
Yeah, it's fucking Tanahashi. Like you said before, you don't do that to this guy.
I agree.
So yeah, that was Forbidden Door. I loved it.
I love it. I mean, it is clearly a cursed show.
Yes.
But with every injury, every illness, every botch, everything, this show was cursed. I know there is talk of Forbidden Door 2. Tony Khan confirmed. What was that?
Electric Boogaloo.
David will love that. But friend of the pod, guys. See, we bring you up if you stay with us. We talk about you. But if Forbidden Door 2, exactly. If Forbidden Door 2 does happen, for the month preceding it, please just bubble wrap your talent. You know, maybe highlight people who aren't going to be on the show just because it is dangerous out there, guys.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to remember. Somebody on Reddit was like, the door was forbidden and we had the arrogance to open it. Like, what did you think was gonna happen? Or somebody on Reddit, excuse me.
Yeah.
Like, what did you think was gonna happen?
To quote
in our arrogance, we opened it.
To quote Ian Malcolm, we spent so much time thinking whether or not we could do it. We didn't think about whether we should. And clearly there was a price to pay. But it was a fun show. Forbidden Door was great. It's a new world. You know, we're not. I remember the days of Ring of Honor, New Japan crossovers, or New Japan TNA crossovers.
Because those went well.
I mean, it turned Okada into Okada. That's what I'll say.
The Bucks turned Okada into Okada.
And guess what? That led in some shape or form. That led to AEW.
Yeah,
but we don't have time for that now.
Into this. Go watch Being the Elite. You'll figure it out. All 352 episodes or where they're at. I love this, man. I want more. I want more.
I do too.
I hope.
I want Kenny. Give me Kenny.
Yes, Kenny. I think Kenny was the only thing missing from this show. And red shoes.
And red shoes.
And red shoes.
I mean, his kid has like reddish hair now. So
yeah, I did like that touch. I like that. I'm looking forward to seeing what Shooter does, man.
Me too.
But it is late. Estoy cansado. I'm sure you are too.
Yeah, I am. But thank you guys if you've been with us throughout this. If you've popped in for a little bit, thank you. If you're coming from Reddit, we appreciate it. If you're coming from Instagram, we appreciate it. If you're coming from Facebook, we appreciate it. Or Twitter. If you came from Twitter, we appreciate it.
For those of you who followed along with me on Twitter tonight.
Yes.
I tend to live tweet all of the AEW pay-per-views, so
yes, sir.
You know, I have a few and tweet my mind.
we will be going live after Blood and Guts this Wednesday, and if you like us, follow, subscribe, like, click. Nick, you know the spiel. How do you say it?
Yep, do all the YouTuber things, like and subscribe, por favor. If we hit 100 subscribers, James will be rapping for us and dyeing some part of his hair green, beard, actual head of hair. I don't know, but
Who knows?
Something will be green, and it'll be glorious. Especially if you like watching awkward white people rapping. I will do my best to get all of our social media stuff in the description below when YouTube lets me. It doesn't let me do it right off the bat when it's live because that's a process or something. But if you want to follow us immediately, go check out one of our other videos. You can watch some of our stuff. You can go check out our prediction video and see how right and or wrong we were, and then follow our stuff from there. Like James said, we will be live on Wednesday after Blood and Guts. We will have a new pod out sometime by the end of next week. And like I said, I'm tired. So I will say this though. What is this, 4-hour show? Not too late.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised at how late it went, but considering all the talent, I'm not too surprised. And I'm not going to complain that we got a bunch of good wrestling.
I will say it wasn't as late as the last pay-per-view. Because I'm pretty sure Danny and I hopped on at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I had to make myself an espresso just to stay awake through that thing. So not as bad this time, Danny. A little bad, but not as bad. All right. So for James Asante, my name is Nick Cummings. Thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you next time here on the Market Down Podcast. Have a good night.